Hello everyone, this is William and Abraham from PropertySold.ca. And Abraham, today we're talking about porting a mortgage.
Yes.
This is when you're moving your mortgage from your old property into your new property, and we're going to talk about what's involved with that. So Abraham, you sold your house and you still have term left on your mortgage. You don't want to break it, you want to move it. How does that work?
Well, when you're selling a house and buying another property, something has to be done with that mortgage. It's going to be paid out from the sale of your existing home. And originally you made an agreement, a contract with the bank for a certain amount of money, a certain interest rate, and a certain term, 5-year term, for example. If you were to completely break it and walk away, there's a penalty to be involved, but that's where the port comes in. You can port that mortgage to the new property without paying the penalties, and there's 3 different types of ports that are available. A straight port, for example, you are moving your mortgage for the exact same amount that you have currently remaining to the new property. Nothing changes. Interest rate stays the same, the remaining term stays the same, and the mortgage amount stays the same. Straight port does not involve any penalties, but there's always a cost involved in the process.
Just an administration fee probably by the bank?
Okay. Exactly, yeah. And that's the first option. The second option is a port increase. Port increase is when you are moving your mortgage to another property, but you're going to need more money. Maybe you bought a larger home, you have less down payment, and you need from the bank maybe an extra 50, 60, 70,000, whatever it may be, to increase the mortgage so you can buy that property. And they allow for that as well. Again, the original agreement has to be honored, so you're going to they're going to take your existing balance, whatever it may be, add the extra $50,000, whatever it may be, give you a combined mortgage on the new property, and they'll blend the interest rate. They'll take the interest rate that you have, they'll take the $50,000 that you want extra at today's interest rates, and they'll blend the two. So you're honoring the original agreement, and you're adding the extra money, and you're getting a blended interest rate, which will be higher in some cases if the interest rates are higher, lower in some cases if the interest rates are lower at the time. And that's the port and increase.
Okay.
Yeah. The final one, of course, is the port and decrease. If you are buying another property and let's say you have more money to put down, or you're buying a smaller property and you need less money, you can port and decrease. Now, the trick with porting and decreasing is you can decrease your mortgage up to a certain amount. You're allowed prepayment privileges by the institutions. 5%, 10%, up to 25% in some cases. Okay. You're allowed to put per year to reduce your mortgage balance. Now, that's a privilege that you have. When you're selling your property and buying another one, and you're reducing the mortgage, you can reduce it up to that amount without paying penalties on that amount. Okay. If you go above and beyond, you're going to pay a penalty on the extra monies that you are paying it down. That's the port and decrease. The mortgage amount will change, it'll decrease. The term will stay the same, the interest rate will stay the same because there's no new money. You've got to honor the existing mortgage agreement. And you're just going to take a smaller mortgage amount. Now, again, if you go over that amount, remember you're going to pay a penalty.
So there's a lot to be involved, especially when you're decreasing the amount, because you could be decreasing it and you could be paying a large penalty, where if you do the math, it could work out that, you know what, I'm just going to port it, a straight port, and my term ends in 2 years, and at that point I'll just use my proceeds from the sale to end my mortgage totally. So you want to do the math when you're doing a port and decrease.
Yeah, we can do the calculations for you, depending on the scenario, your specific scenario, because every situation is different. So we can do the math, and there's one other option I did mention, and this is an option that you would consider if you find that you had a high interest rate to begin with, or if the interest rates today are not attractive, and the blended interest rate you're getting is just not what you wanted or expected. We can do a calculation where it might be cheaper to break your existing mortgage, pay the penalty, and move it to another institution. Especially if you're stuck with a mortgage balance that you're going to be porting that has a high interest rate. Today, for example, interest rates are much lower. It might make sense to break the mortgage, pay the penalty, and take a lower interest rate over the next 5 years. And of course, I could do the math here and find out the calculations. It'll be very clear whether or not it makes sense, because you could be paying a couple thousand in penalty now, but saving maybe double or triple that in the long run. So it does make sense to look into that option as well.
Excellent. This is William and Abraham for PropertySold.ca. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.